Okay, welcome back to trial number 3. Now let's see if we can hear Shane from Unbiased and on the Fence talking.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Can you hear it? Well, you know, it takes a few seconds to go through the live stream.
Yes, I'm coming through. I can hear myself.
How is he sounding? Is he sounding 5x5 excelente?
Oh, you know that.
Oh, Shane, you are such a lifesaver. The chat is saying, yes, they can hear you, and you're loud. Yellow Sun says, hi, I can hear you. Thank you so very much. Tossing me that lifesaver yet again.
It's my pleasure. It's easy once you know, but when you don't know, it's like so many options. But yeah, it's like anything. It's once you figure it out, it's pretty easy, you know.
You know how I was with Photoshop too. I was about to chuck that out the window. You know, it's like all this learning. Oh my gosh, if people only knew. Well,
I'm so glad you use OBS, because you know, anything else I would have been like, I'm not sure. I'd have to figure it out on my own. But I've dealt with all these issues before, so I was glad to help.
Oh, and I thank you, and I have so much gratitude and appreciation for you taking the time to pull me out of a sticky situation. Thank you. Much honored. Okay, guys, phone lines are open. Shane has things he needs to do, but wanted to make sure that we were all okay. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to Unbiased and on the Fence, you've been hiding under a rock somewhere. I will put his link in the show more notes. He's actually on my homepage as one of the featured channels. Definitely subscribe to his channel. It's amazing. I love his shows. He's got one going on tonight. It's at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Time, and 9 o'clock on Eastern Time. Is that right?
It's 8 Eastern and 7 Central.
So it would be 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for me it's going to be 7 o'clock on 7/7. So it's going to be 3 7s for me here Central Time. 7/7/7.
Nice. And you know me and synchronicities. And so that would actually be 5 o'clock for me. Okay. Because the 8 at 8, I get it, but I don't get it because it doesn't line up at 8 for me. So I'll see you at 5, floating in your stream. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. So phone lines are open. Call 262-OPINIONS or 262-674-6467 to talk to Michelle. How's that, Michelle?
Thank you. Nice sign out. All right.
No, I love you, Michelle. Bye-bye.
I love you too. Take care. Thank you. Okay, guys. The phones are working. We are all in good shape. So anybody that is wanting to actually call in can actually call in now. So sorry about the confusion. He was very thorough with teaching us. Just going through OBS, there was a few things that, you know, we didn't get into. So, you know, I just appreciate him so much, dropping everything that he's doing, bouncing in and helping out. You know, look, we make such amazing friends that will do so much for us. You know, it's just, and you can tell everybody is such a giver. And, you know, we're not good at receiving. We're working on it, but they will give you the shirt off their back, you know, just to help each other out. It's just so beautiful and wonderful. And it's, you know, we're making these wonderful friendships and bonds with people. It's just unbeatable. So who stuck through it with me? Who made it through all of this craziness? Oh, we got 10 people watching. Wow. Yeah, you can hear him great. Yes, loud. Yep. Sanjay, Yellow Sun. And let's see, it's the Naikas? Is that, are you who called me to help me? The Naikas? Because now that people can hear you and I don't have to have the earbud hanging on the thing for people to barely be able to hear us, I welcome you to call back share what you know, so we can all listen and grow. Now, since I already shared the dream and I shared the poem on the earlier one, we'll go as long as people are calling, but I really don't try to drag you guys out too long. And I didn't share this anywhere. If anybody wants to share it anywhere to let people know that it's actually working, that would be great. It's more of a spontaneous thing, and I'm just blown away that he just was right there, and he did a class. I would call it a class. We all got together in Hangouts. I don't know if you know Scarab Performance, and Shane and Scarab and I were the students, and Shane was the teacher. So, and he really has helped us out, because I think a lot of people get a little shy with coming on, and sharing the link, and all that takes time. Or now you can just call, and it comes on right through, and you don't have to worry about all of that. You don't have to worry about having certain software. And later, I will learn from Shane, because he had said that there's ways that we can get people like that are out of the country to be able to come on through Messenger and other areas, so there's no long distance charges. Now, I know on the weekends, most of our cell phone plans and a lot of our home phone plans now have unlimited long distance within your country. So that's never been a problem, but it is a difficulty for people out of the country. So that, I'm going to grow along nice and slowly and understand the software. And I tell you, you guys are champs on following through and staying with me. There's still 10 of us here, so wow. Oh, wow, Shane, you're still in the room. Thank you. Yeah, and you are a sweetheart. And Dan was talking about, how about the long distance stuff. And we may have to have class 2.0. We had 1.0, and I apparently failed the class. But I'm on top of it now. And then class 2.0. So we can get the people from from the internet, so it's a no-cost thing. I'm wondering if you can call straight from Google, like dial the number through Google, open up a Google Voice for yourself, and call through Google and make it a free call. I'm not sure. I'm sure Shane knows more about that stuff than I do. But obviously, you guys saw me fumble around. I'm pretty good. So, okay, who's just going to be brave enough to call in and share what they know and listen so we can grow? Also, I am working on the master numbers 5. So I've already done my research, so I'll be putting that together for you guys soon. So I'm still working on those for you. That's right, you did. So if you call through Google Hangouts, it's free, right, Shane? Then so if they just instead of going to Google Hangouts, they go to Google Voice. Instead of Hangouts, go to Google Voice and then just dial the number from there. Yeah. Am I correct on that, or can they do it through Hangouts, regular Hangouts? In Hangouts, it gives you the option of being a phone hangout or a video hangout. So, yep, free. It's free. So, we've been working on the master numbers. Do a little channel maintenance while I'm waiting for that first call. Well, I've already had the first caller. It was Shane. So we had the brave one come on first. So on Monday, Lisa M. Harrison, yes, will be on. It'll be at 111. Fits her schedule better. and she'll be talking to us from the future because it's actually Tuesday for her. So I thought she was coming on Tuesday, and all was good because Michele comes on Monday. And then when I figured out it was actually Monday, Michele worked it out. Well, she's going to come on Wednesday. So that's really nice. And you could catch her on Unbiased on the Fence on Tuesdays. So she's just a breath of fresh air, ball of sunshine, very interesting lady, does a lot of research. You know, just like most of us, you have these things happen to you, and then you look into it. You know, instead of being in school where you're forced to learn a certain curriculum, this way, it's like we're exploring what is going on with us. And of course, there's more interest in that because we want to know what the heck is going on with us. So we search the matter out, we study, we look for other people who are going through the same kind of situations, or information about these situations. Even though I'm reading about the master numbers on what they have in the books and stuff, you know, you always take what resonates with you and, you know, leave the rest. But what I find is, you know, as we're Mandela affected, so is the information. So as we are becoming more self-aware and understanding one another and understanding ourselves, the information seems to be changing along with that, where it will actually sync up with each of us. It's beautiful. Okay, everybody that's in the room, say hello so I can say hi. I see that there's 13 of you. And I have to say, without putting out any notifications and everything, that's really pretty great. Is the number visible enough on the screen? I know it's supposed to be opinions, but it's opinion, no N, S. Skip the last N and go straight for the S, and that's the phone number, 262 opinions. But that was another thing in the class when he was teaching us. He taught us to find, actually he did the work. He found phone numbers that were available that matched up with pretty much our show titles. It was amazing. I mean, there was a lot to glean from there. And actually, my problem that I had here was not something that we actually went over in that, because I don't know if the other person just goes in through Google or if they use OBS, but we didn't talk about OBS. And when he talked me through it, and then all of a sudden his voice came through 5x5 through my microphone, just like mine is. Wow, what a difference that makes. Hey, Scott Light Warrior Craig, how are you? Yeah, call in, Scott. Just do it. Shane already did. Let's go. Shane, if you want to hear about that dream, that prosperity, it's on the first one. And I could read you guys my poem again if you want me to, while I'm waiting, you know, for somebody to call. My silly little poem. Actually, it's from my heart, so I guess I shouldn't call it silly. Okay, here's my poem while I'm waiting for you to call. My love, my sweet, my divine, my infinite possibility, my kindness, my generosity, my abundance, my friend, my gratitude, my respect, my hope, my faith, my blessed, my joy, my bliss. That is you to me and me to you. Love you, my family. What you think? Yes? No? Don't ever say it again? The dream was a little longer, so that's in the first one, where I couldn't get the phone to go through. I went ahead and shared the dream that I had. I didn't get a chance to with, I mean, you know, and you guys know that I'll give people the 5 minutes, you know, come in, introduce yourself, tell a little bit about what's going on with you. But if you're wanting to come on for a full interview, to contact me through email, and we can set something up for you to have a full hour of, you know, sharing your process, your testimony. It's one thing nobody can take from you is your testimony. So I like to keep everybody at about 5 minutes, so then nobody gets left out. And although I'm small, I'm growing really fast, and it is in gratitude to, you know, many of these channels that have been, you know, set up. But
It says you're unavailable.
oh, my phone line says I'm unavailable. Hold on. Sorry about that. I forgot to click that little thing. It's open now, so come on in. But these larger, more established channels have shined light on my channel and have brought the most beautiful, wonderful, loving people. Now, people can shine a light, but it's up to, you know, up to me to be able to keep ya, you know? Hello, you're on Michelle's Opinions.
Hello, Miss Michele. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am so happy that Shane got you up and running.
Yes, me too. He's so sweet.
Yes, he is. What is his channel's name?
Unbiased and on the fence. Unbiased and on the fence.
Unbiased and unhinged. Okay.
No,
I'm going to have to subscribe to...
Yeah, yes. And, you know, if you shoot me an email, which is in my show more notes, I will send you his channel link.
Perfect.
Hopefully before tonight, when he does that 8 at 8, it's a pretty powerful, and you'll feel it. You'll just feel all of the hearts coming together. It's more about like proper prayer is what I get from it, you know. And even in the scriptures, it says we pray for things we know not, right? And so the Spirit gives us utterance. Well, the lady that he has come on, she also has a channel. I'm sure he'll link that in his show more notes. But she's teaching more. It's more about proper prayer, seeing somebody as whole. Proper
prayer, yeah. The Father's prayer is a perfect example of proper prayer.
Yes, and when we pray for one another, we're not to acknowledge and say, "Oh, poor you, you're sick." If we're doing that, then we are actually putting more energy towards that sickness.
Sending healing. Yeah, we're sending our healing powers.
That's what we want to do. See them
united
whole
we can.
and healthy. Yes. And so it's beautiful, and I think you will totally enjoy it. Shane, just like I, and probably you too, I used the Bible, was my tool to come through this very... you know, this Mandela, actually it started before that with the dreams and visions and these gifts being stirred up and having dreams and then having them come to pass.
You know, I heard your dream earlier about being a grandmother pushing around a child, and she was becoming very abundant and in the most unexpected places, but she was very joyful. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm constantly, it seems like nonstop on a roll with dreams, and the other night, I literally jolted out of my bed because I was so frustrated. I was trying to make it out. I can understand different languages, but I cannot speak them. I always feel like I'm very tongue-tied when I try. The only one I can come close to is Spanish. And I kept hearing this language over, and they were just screaming at me. And it was like they weren't screaming at me. They were screaming to me. And all I kept hearing was Brazil in crisis. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? So I jolted out of bed, and I looked, and sure enough, their economy is collapsing. But it gets very frustrating because I get these dreams constantly, and I don't even think I do a lot of lucid dreaming. I don't even think to tell them to slow down. Like, I'm just trying to tell them in sign language slow down so I can understand what they're saying, and I can understand maybe a fourth of what they say if I'm even lucky to get that much.
I'll tell you what, you will never be given more than you can handle. And as your waking time goes, it's still working on you. A lot of times they're talking to our bodies and our DNA and activating things within us. Lucid dreaming and the lessons that we learn in lucid dreaming are absolutely amazing. A lot of them are in symbolism, synchronicities. But this one that I had...
Oh, synchronicities galore, massive galore these days. I never even realized how just massive it really is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love synchronicities.
Numbers galore everywhere.
Yeah. And I went through a period of time where I thought, am I a targeted individual? But then I came to the realization, well, my cell phone doesn't even work everywhere. You know, who's going to follow me around day and night and be able... So then I realized, no. This is waves of energy. We are energy, and we're getting, I call it like we're in the restoration. We're in the promised time to be restored, and, you know, and I let go and stopped fighting it and started flowing. It's beautiful.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I asked this of, and please forgive me if I get her first name wrong, but her last name is Erickson. I want to say Stasha.
Yes.
Or Stasha. But I asked her one night in live chat, I have kind of a theory going. I am an O-negative RSG negative blood type. We're extremely rare, but we can give to everyone. We can only get our own blood type back. We used to, back in the days, before scientific intervention, we would have blue babies because our blood would attack the baby. I have a theory of either it's O-negative blood type that has this massive great awakening like we've got, combined with near-death experiences. Because I'm finding one of the two of a combination between the people that are Mandela affected. Quite often I'm running it, actually, thus far I can't even say that I've found anybody who hasn't died previously or come close. Or they're O-negative. What is your input on that?
Well,
or born again?
I had that spiritual awakening, but then in 2001, I actually started having the lucid dreams and the astral projecting out of my body or whatever, and it frightened me, and the doc gave me a pill and told me, but I had 2 children to support, and my marriage, we were young, and you know, when you're young, how you fight around and stuff, so it was unstable, so I was holding down 2 jobs. I was an office manager at one, and then I was the bookkeeper at a bowling alley, which that one I could take my children to, and they got to bowl for free.
When did you ever find time to breathe?
I didn't have time for this lucid dreaming thing to go on. I needed my rest because I had, you know, I wanted to be, and most times when I had multiple jobs, I would do them from home so I could be with my children.
I bet you were looking forward to dreaming.
Yeah, I did, but they were kind of scary to me when I was raising up out of my body.
Do you dream in color, Michele, by chance? Because I hear most people dream in black and white, and I've always dreamed in extremely vivid colors.
I dream in color, honey. In color.
Are they vivid sometimes? Like
vivid colors. Like when I wake up here, it's dull. Exaggerated
colors. I mean, they pop.
They're beautiful, but
I'll tell you how I learned how to lucid dream. I'll never ever forget it. I had 2 very in particular dreams that taught me how to lucid dream. 3 actually. One was when I had fallen down a cement stair. It was almost like a castle set of stair steps, and I was falling head first, and I had fallen so hard that I was almost like flying down the stairs, and I never touched one of the steps, and I started to hit the very bottom, and I thought, nope, just put your arms out and fly. And sure enough, I put my arms out, and they turned into wings, and I was able to fly around and look around underneath me. So that's one of the ways I learned. The other one was I was drowning. And I had to realize that I must have been holding my breath in my sleep, I'm not sure. But I couldn't find which way was up and which way was down, and finally I had to pull myself, realize that I was dreaming, and force myself awake so I wouldn't drown. Wow. And then there was another one where I was being chased, and I realized that I was running in fear, and I stopped, and I turned around, and I faced my fear, and it went away. Those are the 3 I remember the most.
So do you think
fight or flight
in those dream states that those were actually like either death experiences and you woke up here? Or
I think so, yes. Yes, absolutely, positively, yeah. Because I was trying to figure it out. In 2012, my entire world, as I had known it, turned upside down and inside out. I started noticing it in around 2010, but I couldn't really put my fingertip on it. And I was going for mental health counseling. I was going to become a therapist. I was attending Capella University, and I started beginning to realize that other people's realities were not my realities, and I was getting a little confused by that. And I thought I was going crazy, to be honest with you, because around that time I was going through divorce and a house fire and just a lot of trauma and drama. And I ended up losing every single thing I owned, everything, including my pets. The only thing that did survive was, and thank God, that's my own one and only, and that's the only one that mattered, was my family members. My husband at the time and my daughter. We were on a vacation in Florida, and the fire happened in Tennessee. And I thought, at that time, it was so weird. I know this is going to sound crazy, but my grandfather, he used to go to...
Nothing sounds crazy. Everything's on the table.
Well, it was so weird because my grandfather collected Indian artifacts. And one of the two things that he collected were 2 Indian skulls. And when he had passed away, I got them out of storage from my uncles, and they were in shoebox, or in a shoebox. And I didn't have a glass case to put them in, so I left them on top of my refrigerator in the shoebox so they protected, from dust, etc. And we had the craziest group, if you want to call it group hallucination, group think, group whatever, delusions, whatever. But we would actually hear like old music in the middle of the night. We would see figures moving around. We were literally being haunted.
Like bleed-throughs. And
what's that?
Like a bleed-through. The dimensions were very close. You were actually hearing them. Right.
Yeah, oh yeah. And the funny thing is I was, at the time, I was going to school to become a mental health counselor, and I'm like, no, listen, if it were just me, I could say that it's a health issue, a mental health issue, something to that effect. I said, but when you've got a group of people giving different stories and they all match up, yeah, you might be a lot like haunted. So at that point, I decided when I got back to Michigan to do as much of a proper burial, Indian burial, that I could. I called in a friend who was Native and asked her to say prayers and help me. It was over the phone, but we did the best we could. But yeah, I remember seeing, back when I was in my crib, I always knew that I was being visited by entities. I've always been able to sense and feel them. My mom always told me, don't tell anybody, because people will call me a witch. They'll say that me having a dream about someone dying and not saying anything, I could have prevented it, or that I made it happen because I didn't say anything. Just crazy things like that. I'm often called a witch. I've always known I've not belonged here. And one of the people I love the most, that supports me the most as far as my ideology, I would have to say is Fair Performance. There's a lot of really, really great people out there that support the fact that we are not of this dimension.
Right.
We came from somewhere else to bring healing to this one. This one has gone...
I asked Unbiased and On the Fence to put his link in the chat. So
okay, I can't see chat at all, sweetheart. And if somebody wants to call in, that's fine. I just don't want you to have dead air because I love listening to you talk.
No, that's not it. I just wanted to let you know that if you watch it back, excuse me, it'll be in there. Plus, you have the option to email me, of course, and I will shoot you that link. But I want to make sure that everybody in here has that link because we're kind of a mixed bunch here. We've got some people from the UU. We've got some people, from Lisa Harrison. We've got people from Dan. We've got people, from Shane's, from Josie.
Yeah, if that's the case, you probably got Jason McCall. You've probably got Cowboy, Candy Cupcake,
yes.
Pop, Wake and Say, all of us.
I've been on his panel on Cowboy. It was a lot of fun. So I know I'm biased. One thing about Shane is he doesn't like to talk in the stream because so many people know him, but that takes away from him his fun of being able to chat it up in the stream. And I want him to feel because he realizes, and I'll tell you something about each of the people you just listed out. Okay. Some of them are very successful with their YouTube channels, but you know what? They're just people just like everybody else, and they just want to be treated like a person just like everybody else. So if they want to chat in the stream and just have a good time, what they feel, though, is that if they talk in the stream, they take away from the content creator that, and I don't feel that way. I feel that it's an honor for them to, come over and feel at home and comfortable. I chat in his stream. I love his streams. Oh my God!
Well, I'll tell you right now. Like last night, we had Scarab and Teresa Lynch and Glow. I'm not familiar with who Glow is, but we quite often will have like Stonebender and Layered Life and etc. And what Jason will do is he'll just leave his live stream going while he's sleeping. And that way, if people want to keep chatting, they can keep chatting. If they're on the phone, like I explained to Jason, though, the biggest problem is that when he falls asleep and he's not sending out invites, then we're not getting in to actually have a live phone chat. But nonetheless, we can still chat, in the typing chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I
get you.
I absolutely love you. I think your channel is amazing. I love when you come in to the other channels and you comment because you have such great comments.
Aw, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. No, thank you. And I learned so much from you guys. I really do.
I'm just being myself, but I'm going to tell you something. Me from 10 years ago to me now, I wouldn't recognize because I was, I call it awakening. We are awakening and we're understanding who and what we are. But, I was so consumed with the day-to-day humdrum, okay, which is a very boring and pointless, aimless life. Where now we get a better understanding of what the heck is going on. And
we actually have a passion for living now.
Yes, and
we actually have a purpose for being here. We have a mission to do.
And we love each other so much. We see each other as the limitless potential that each and every one of us are. It's wonderful.
Yep. The only thing that breaks my heart, honestly, Michelle, the biggest thing about being here and realizing that I'm not in the same dimension per se, quote-unquote, however you want to call it, the same reality, is the fact that I asked my entire life that when the Saints come marching in, that I be included in that number. And I'm seeing and realizing we are intercontinental, the ones that are awoken. So they're still so very, I mean, even though it seems like so massive in numbers, like Scarab's got almost 20,000 viewers himself. Right. And, even though that seems like a whole lot, when you look at the worldwide, we're minuscule. We are absolutely minuscule in comparison to the rest of this reality. And so God planted us here for a reason, for a mission, and we're beginning to glue together and move in unison with our thoughts. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll just randomly have a feeling to pick up the phone and all of a sudden someone went live.
And I'll tell you that
Digital
all these
Intel,
channels
he's over, I think, in Australia.
We're all merging together, though, too, and working as one unit. It's beautiful. And I've noticed that in most of them that we're given the same message of, all the answers are within. Seek, knock, you will receive. And and we're not telling you that you're worshiping the wrong God or anything like that. That the labels drop. They're gone. There's no labeling. You just see everybody as a beautiful expression. We are all different God's expressions of, we hold the breath of life in us, which makes us His children, and we are all different expressions. If we were all not different expressions, wouldn't it be boring if we all looked exactly alike? Right?
Right. Absolutely. Amen. And you know what? That's just like the gifts of the Holy Spirit. How many are there? Like 25 in total or something? Like, you name them, the gifts. If we all, every single one of us, had the exact same gift, then how much more would be missed without all the unique special abilities given the way that our brains are wired? You know what I think is hilarious, Michelle? I think it's hilarious that AI, the only reason it exists is because it's man-made.
Of course.
And it's going to be their demise. And I thought about it earlier. Somebody made the comment, well, I wonder how AI is going to do when we unplug everything. And I started laughing my butt off. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much the advantage we have. We can unplug everything. We can, destroy the batteries. We can do all kinds of stuff to tear it down. But they've gone way too far with this transhumanism, singularity. I keep hearing Bitcoin, and that terrifies me because I'm like, well, if you don't have the internet or electricity, good luck with that one.
Right. And you know, that's one thing. What do you think about this? This is something that's been rolling around in my noodle for a while. The internet crosses dimensions.
The internet what?
Crosses dimensions. Like if somebody's living a very 3D world, we can still reach them. They can still hear us.
Yep, absolutely correct. And it crisscrosses wires. I've noticed that too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's really weird? I'll be in the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden I can overhear someone else's conversation or someone having a conversation with me. And I'll ask, like, for instance, that happens a lot with my mom. I'll be in the middle of having a conversation with my mom, and all of a sudden someone else will speak up, and they're so faint, and I'll say, Mom, did you hear that? And she's like, no. And then I'll start hearing it again, and then she'll say, what was that? And I'll say, well, that's what I was talking about. You didn't hear it before? She says, no, but I hear it now. It's like some sort of wavelength, what do they call that, interference?
Telepathy?
It's like an interference in the line. Like back when you used to carry your wireless and you pick up on the neighbors' conversations as you're walking down the sidewalk. Yeah, oops.
Do you
or the
remember
little party
when
lines?
they used to have party lines? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They had party lines.
Yeah, party lines where you sat there and you had to, like, be really quiet so they didn't hear you, but then you listened on the line. I remember that when I was, like, third or fourth grade. Because I'd get mad because I'd want to start using the phone. Maybe I was in 7th or 8th. And I'd want to start using the phone, and those cackling hens, they'd be on that phone for 2-3 hours at a time talking about peanut butter cookies.
Silent J posted again Unbiased on the Fence's link. He didn't label it, but I want everybody to know that that's the link to that channel. And
Gotcha.
Most, if not all, are probably already subscribed to Scarab. If not, we can post that. But remember, guys, on my homepage, these guys are all listed there. I wanted to make it so
Do you have
easy.
E-Man 31?
I just barely subscribed to him. It looks like he just opened a new channel.
Yeah, he did. That was his backup. Somehow he got booted for 90 days for live. He's banned from live stream, which none of us can figure that one out. But nonetheless, they did it. But we do have a backup solution. What we do is we have E-Man call in to Cowboy, and then Cowboy goes live, so the E-Man can still do a live show. He still has his chat on his backup, so he still has that running. But then, as far as actually speaking, he goes on to Cowboy's Hangout.
Yeah, I was on Cowboys when E-Man was on there.
Okay.
And so,
yeah,
you know,
we find workarounds.
For
They're
a
not going to
Christian
slow us down.
minister, he proclaims to
Right.
be a Christian minister. But I'm going to tell you what, he's about one of the most open-minded, understanding.
Yes, he is.
Seeing how all of this
Incredible,
is going
man.
on, and all inclusive and all accepting,
And so highly intelligent. He is so intelligent. It's just ridiculous. He's up to par on everything. Do you know why I even put my picture up there for Hangouts for these live streams?
Why?
Because I was in chat one night and literally somebody called, and I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, the guy's name in chat was Hugo Chavez, called Iman a white supremacist. Now, when he called Iman a white supremacist,
What?
at that time, yeah, I kid you not, and at that time, my icon was just the letter T for the Nagus. It was a green background with a white T. And I was so upset that night. I could not believe, of all the people in all the world, that they would call, that Hugo Chavez would call Emmanuel, a black pastor, a white supremacist.
I don't see
So I
colors.
decided...
Well, wait, I
Right,
see colors.
I put my picture up and I said, I'm going to tell you right now, he's full-blooded, my brother, period, on his story, in Christ. So whatever, if you want to call him a porch monkey, I am a porch monkey too. If you want to call him a white supremacist, I guess I am that too. But guess what? Take a look at us. We're full-blooded brother and sister.
When they're pointing
Well,
one
then come to
finger
find
at
out.
you, they're pointing 3 back at themselves. And their own words will condemn them. But I was going to say I don't see in color, because I always said that I don't see in color. The difference
No,
in the
you know
color
what?
of
People would
skin-
ask me my nationality, and I said, you know what I am? I'm a Heinz 57. How about that?
Oh, but I do see in colors, though. I actually do, but it's not colors like you think. I see us as
Right.
like walking rainbows. I've been.
Yep,
It's been
you do
about
the
a
aura.
year. It's been about a year that I've learned. It's still everything takes time. Everything takes
Hey, I got a
time to
question for you.
develop. Yes, sweetie.
So do you read auras?
I can see auras, but I don't claim to read auras. I
Okay.
I have multiple gifts stirred up, and that's one thing that I've noticed too. You know, it does say that's something that stumbled me up in the Bible is it says to one is given one and another is given another, but of the same Spirit. Okay, well, I had multiple things going on simultaneously.
And I haven't honed any of my skills because I was always terrified of them.
Well,
but
yeah,
I'm curious
what was that of the devil? I mean, I started speaking in tongues. And then
I could never speak in tongues, but I tried. I was blessed by the Holy Spirit numerous times, and I can understand it. I can understand tongues, but I can't speak them. One thing I have a question though is if you see auras, what are the prominent colors that you're seeing on people these days? Like, is there a particular color you keep seeing over and over again?
I see greens, I see purples, I see blues, I see pinks. But the most...
Do you see any yellows at all?
Yeah, well, I do, but that's not where it used to be like
I see like an amber around people sometimes.
Where it used to be like a yellow. What I see now is like when you watch Shane tonight on the show. Just you kind of have to like those paintings that you look at. You have to kind of relax your eyes to actually see the image. Okay. That's how I do it. I relax my eyes. Well, what I can see around the people is, if they get nervous, it hugs up close to them and then it'll expand out. But it's like a white, shimmery, like silver flecks.
Oh, you're just seeing their body energy, honey. That's just the radiation of their energy radiating through their body and emulating around them.
That used to be yellow. Okay, well, let me finish.
Yeah, like
what's
amber.
Going on. Yeah, it used to be like yellow, but now that our sun is white, I'm wondering if there's a correlation with it. And so, but
I bet there is. I was just thinking about that today with the trees. Saying the exact thing.
I don't know because of I don't see it on everybody, but some people they just shine really, really bright. But in that they got that white, and you, like I said, if they get nervous or something, it hugs close to their body, and then it'll extend back out, like up to 4 inches or so. But if you go out even wider, then you, and also within that white, you see the swirls of these beautiful greens and turquoises and
rainbows.
blues.
Like a, what do they call it?
Walking rainbows is what I call them.
What do they call it? Iridescent. Iridescent. That's what I was thinking. They become very iridescent.
They're translucent.
I've noticed that too.
Light colors. You can see it's absolutely beautiful. And
I call them diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I got to tell you, Shane's is very easy to see. He's not hiding his light under a bushel at all. I don't even know if he realizes. You remember that song too,
huh? Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine.
Right. He doesn't do it on purpose. It's just he glows, and I think it also has to do with the passion of what you're doing. Now, when you got somebody using like OBS background and stuff, false background, it's very difficult for me to see that. But it used to only be white background, so I could see it. But now I can see them on any kind of background except for false backgrounds. Like I have an OBS false background. It's almost impossible because all it does is my image and it blends in with the green screen, and the green screen takes away anything that you would be able to see. Now I have that picture that my son took, which freaked me the heck out. Because I didn't see any glaring. There was no glaring. I wasn't being blinded or anything. Nothing unusual was going on.
Right.
I was just feeling so much love watching my husband and my son.
Were you the one that was in the garage and it looked like the light was emanating from you?
From my eyes? You can't even see my face.
Right. And then it was you. You were sitting in the garage.
Yes. That's me.
Yep, I remember that very, very, very distinctly. And you also had it coming radiating out of your belly.
And my heart.
Let me ask you a question. Yep, in your eyes. You had massive.
And it was, and the light was where it should have been shadowed on that side of my head. The light was going around my head on the wrong side. Yep. The light was behaving in a very odd and peculiar
abnormal
way.
Very. Yep. And another question I have for you. I noticed this, and I really pulled back from it because I didn't know if it was demonic or if it was divine. But I was, for a while, back when I was in college doing my bachelor's, I was doing it online. and I was big into chat rooms. And I ended up getting into a UK chat room, and it was for psychics. And there was one night in particular I went in, and I kept seeing RAF, which at the time I didn't know about Royal Air Force. And I was talking to this girl about her. I kept seeing a water glass next to a bed with glasses. It looked like a grandma's bed. And then I saw this woman out in the kitchen. Well, come to find out, I was reading her to a T over the internet, and we were intercontinental, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
She was over in Britain or something. And I almost feel like all this technology, for some reason, our body energies, the ones that are Mandela affected. I hear quite often people say, you know, hey, I'll have a conversation with someone. You can literally see them being given updates as we're speaking.
Wow.
And somehow, yeah, no kidding, right? And somehow, wait a minute, Suso. I think Suso's one of them.
I love Suso.
I do too. There's several of them that have said you can sit right there and watch them update, and it's freaky.
Speaking
and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. We must be, our DNA must be encoded to where we can't be touched. We can't be reprogrammed in accordance to our DNA.
Well,
that's the only thing I can figure.
Right?
What's that?
Touch not God's anointed. And see, I worry about that. Like because you can feel it. I can feel intentions behind people if they're good or bad for me. And
immediately within, even within feet.
And I have to investigate further to see if it's somebody on the sidelines, or, you know, they try to break us up.
Or if they're trying to be energy vampires, suck you dry.
Yes. But I have an unlimited source, and so do they, and I want them to reach out to that. But what my concern is something will happen to them. And I've seen it over and over and over again, where I'm sending them unconditional love, even though I know there's something going on there. And then next thing I know, they're very, very sick, or something has happened to them. And
yep. Or you find out they're extremely suicidal. That's why they've been so angry. Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, and by, you know, it's called cord cutting. We cut the cord, okay, so they can no longer feed off of you. It almost will force them into their dark night or their wilderness journey. If Christ had to go through a wilderness journey, why would we ever think that we wouldn't, you know? So it'll put them into their wilderness journey, stop feeding off of other people and stealing their life force, and realize that they can be connected to source with an unlimited, like Christ said to the woman at the well, I will give you water that you will never...
The source.
Right.
The source of life.
You'll never have... And, of course, water, you know, I heard somebody say the other day, is doctrines that get carried away in the waters and the waves, and, you know, you're getting tossed to and fro in the waves of doctrines of men. When the water can be bubbled up, the truth will resonate right up
here
within you.
Just a second, I need my glasses. I got a passage for you. I keep always constantly, chronically turning to it, that my Bible automatically opens to it. You ready?
Go ahead.
Job 34, verse 14 and 15. If God were to withdraw his spirit and gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would expire together, and man would return to dust, to the dust.
That's true. Because that's what's animating our body. That's what's animating us. Every one of us. Not a select chosen few, but everyone. And it's a choice whether they wake up or not. We can't force anyone awake. All we can do is plant seeds, and then they need to, you know, take the fermentation time, and then, you know, you may have planted the seed, but it won't come into fruition for maybe 10 years. But still, you know, you planted that seed. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not going to say that my way is the right way, or that somebody else's way is the wrong way. If it's taken us to the same destination, who's to say, you know, there's different things within me that needed to be worked on than you or anybody else. And that's why the path is so narrow. You're the only one on it. So if you're trying to follow a group think mentality, worship this way, this is how you have to do it, this is, you know, then you're following along with somebody else's journey. I don't think they did it out of malice. I really think they thought that was the way to go, but that was the way for them. And to each,
right,
it's different.
To be used as slaves, organized slaves. You know, here's my thing, and I don't mean, and I really honestly don't mean to steal somebody else's words, and if I could remember who it came from, I would quote it. Actually, maybe I do. Hang tight a second. I think it's Michael from the Council of Time. That channel, Council of Time. I think it was Michael that I was listening to at the time. But basically, the gist of it is we were not sent here in this Mandela-affected community to try to condemn nor judge anyone. Our responsibility is to try to save humankind. I don't care what your religion, your creed, your walk, your talk, your rituals, I don't care what it is. Mm-hmm. We are all God's creation. And you and I, and all these channels you discuss, we were not here to find comfort in this place. This is not where we're going to find comfort.
No, my first urge was I wanted to go home. I knew this was not my home.
Yep. So our job is not to find comfort here. We will never find comfort here because we are not here for us. We are here for everyone else. And that is our responsibility and our duty.
The flower of life, how we are like quantumly entangled. You don't have to say anything to anyone. Your light, your aura, how far you can expand out will impact those around you. But vice versa, they can impact you too. And so it's a learning process to be able to hold yourself together, get your house in order before you go out into, we're in the world but not of the world. But then it will also do the same with the people that are, like linked into your flower of life. Well, they have their flower of life too, and they're linked in, and it'll like be a domino effect.
And we can pollinate each other.
Beautiful. It's going to be so beautiful and so beyond our comprehension. And the only thing that's limiting us is ourselves.
Amen. I was drinking myself to death when I realized that everybody that I had known from my past, as far as in accordance to their memories locking in with mine, their experiences the same as mine, I had lost all of that. So I felt very lost and alone, kind of like a wind chime in the wind, making a lot of noise, but really not getting anywhere, but stagnant. And I finally came to the conclusion when I almost died that alcohol is not worth it. I'm not going to run and hide from the fact that this wasn't my home. I'm going to fight for their home. I'm going to fight for them to get healthy and strong and realize that they have all the abundance on earth that they need right now if they would just take care of it in themselves. Instead of trying to shoot up heroin and drink yourself to death and wrapping your car around the tree and whatever else these people are thinking of, all these drugs, they're trying to run from God's gifts.
Right.
I'm sitting here listening to birds singing. And it's like, come on, guys, get grounded again. I don't know what's happening. I'll tell you right now. Oh, Michele, I went to go watch. I wanted to pull myself out of like the whole researcher mentality, and I went to go put on some cartoons. So I went to the Comedy Channel, thinking I'm going to find some stand-up comedians that'll make me laugh. Mm-hmm. I got South Park, and here's Cartman, the little chubby kid.
Yeah.
And he's got a hand puppet, and it shows him literally jacking an adult male off in a car.
What? I love South Park. God. I missed that one.
I know. I saw that episode, and I went, nope, never again. So then I tried to go to regular mainstream TV, and I got this Modern Family, and it seems like it's nothing but a push to confuse gender of children, to confuse sexuality between people. It just feels like a push for demonic forces. I'm sorry, and I'm not saying that people that are gay are demonic. I'm saying I really feel like there's a push to reprogram people into self-destruction.
But do you know that, like, even Jesus says, when the kingdom of heaven comes, there will no longer be married or given in marriage because there is no sexuality there. That we are not male or female. But for this avatar, for where we are here, to broaden, we come in with a mission and to broaden our experience. Maybe part of your experience is you wanted to be a mother, you wanted to be a father, you wanted, you wanted to be homeless for a while, so then you could have the gratitude for the abundance. Everything expands us, and we grow and we learn. And then you wake up and you find out, wait a minute, I didn't have to go through all that. But
right, there was a shortcut, and I missed it all the while.
Yeah, but but it's still good. It's still all good because you still have those experiences, and they help you to be patient and tolerant with other people. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people that possibly use drugs and things like that is because they've lost their identity. They don't know who they are. They're not comfortable here, so they're using escapism. So,
you know, you mentioned that. Here's one thing that popped into my head, and I find this very ironic. A lot of things, they say there's no coincidence.
Right.
You know, you mentioned about wanting to be a parent. And when I was 17 years old, being O negative, Rh negative blood type, they had to give me a RhoGAM shot during my pregnancy while I was 17. And then they had to give me another one after my pregnancy with her. And I had to have all 4 of my children in total. I had to have 8 shots, one during and one after each pregnancy. And it was scientific intervention. And I often wondered if I had, because I didn't want them to have any ill situations over that, per se. But I noticed that as a parent, for instance, if you were a bully to children with special needs in school, I've noticed that many of them that were and made fun of kids that had disabilities ended up with children with disabilities. And it's almost like, okay,
it's
well,
karma,
if you want to make fun of them, yeah, karma. And karma is a very, very, very real thing. People don't realize, be careful of what you wish for, because you just literally might get it. You might have a favorite grandmother that you could not live without, and you wish to, for whatever reason, you need a massive windfall. Well, you might get that massive windfall that you wish for, but at grandma's expense. It might be because grandma passes away and you get her inheritance. You know, people don't think that through. And so I'm really, really, really careful not to want for anything. I don't care what it is, even if it's hair dye at $2 a bottle. I don't care. I don't want to take from someone else to give to myself and make someone else rolls out. That could have been a can of soup, you know? So, yeah, sorry I stole your live stream. I don't mean to. I should probably shut up and get off the phone.
The phone lines have been open. I opened them up about 10 minutes ago. Nobody's called. It's okay. It's all good. It's been a wonderful conversation. And I did, the number is up, and this is the first time trying this, obviously, because it took me 3 times to get it right. And another.
I love how you do it because it's right there in the middle of the screen, so it's very, very easy for people to see.
Yes.
I think I have it here, and I can give it a shout out for you.
Yeah, the call-in
If you want to have an absolutely phenomenal conversation with a beautiful, beautiful lady, and you really want to have someone who you can count on to lead you in the right direction, it is Michelle's opinion, and her phone number is 674-6467. Again, that is 262-674-6467, also known as 262 Opinions, or Opinion. I think it's just with an N, right?
No, it's with the S.
Oh, it is Opinions. Okay, so with an S, plural.
It's all
right.
The N is missing.
But
it was pretty cool the way that he even helped us come up with our phone numbers. The phone number will never change. It's always going to be the same. So this was great, but we need to actually wrap it up because we need to hop over to Unbiased on the Fence for the power of 8.
Unbiased and unhinged, right?
No, on the fence.
On the fence.
Unbiased on the Fence.
Unbiased on the
Silent
Fence.
J, if you'll put. Oh, it's in there. Okay, it's posted in the chat. And shoot me an email, and I will give it to you direct. I recommend you subscribe to him and hit that notification.
Oh, you betcha.
Because he goes live and he has some amazing interviews. And don't forget, guys, I also would love to do any interview for anybody that wants to step up and come on and talk about your testimonies, your journey that you're going through, because each of us glean a little bit from, we see some similarities, and something that I may not resonate with everybody, but you may resonate with something that somebody else is going through. And I'm all about, you know, us coming together as one and you know, sharing what we know and listening so we can grow. And yeah, and then we've got let's see, today is Sunday, so there's nothing with Scarab. Oh my gosh, I missed his Saturday.
It's Saturday, isn't it, honey?
It's Saturday. Wait, what are you? Why, you said went to bed yet? That's why I'm confused. My husband is up, and that's why
today's
I'm like,
the 8th.
yeah, today is.
Yeah, today's the 8th.
Today's the 7th. Today is Saturday.
Oh, is it?
Okay, my husband is normally in bed, okay, because he works Friday all night, but he's still out here looking at me. So
yeah, today's
that's
Saturday
why I
the
thought.
7th.
That's why I thought. So we've got Shane, and then we've got Scarab, Speakeasy. Right?
Who's the last one?
Scarab Performance, Speakeasy.
I believe so. Yes. I believe so. I can confirm that to you and get back to you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you guys see how blonde I am. I live so in the now that I don't know days, or you know, I mean everything.
Hey,
just
no,
blurs.
it's not just you. I had to go look at the calendar, sister. I thought today was the 8th. I've been sitting here writing in my journal on the 8th. But yet I knew it was Saturday. So you're not alone in this.
I just thought it was Sunday because he's sitting out here dressed. Normally, he's you know, in his uniform. You know, he doesn't change his clothes, so he's sitting here dressed, not in his uniform like he just came off of work. So he messed me all up. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. You're like, geez, it's hard enough to keep track of.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I love
all right,
you guys.
so I'm going to unbiased and on the fence. Right?
Yeah, send me an email, and I'll send you his link and make it real easy on you, hon. Or, you know, it's in the chat. And I'll give you a minute to go into the chat while I zip this up. And, hopefully more people get brave and call. It would be absolutely great. I am shutting down the phone lines now because we are...
All right, honey. I'm going to let you go. I love you very much. I love the family very much. And I'm going to jump into chat and snatch that link.
Great. Awesome. Yes.
All right, I'll talk to you later, sister.
Thank you very much. And
you're welcome.
My pleasure. My gosh. She was amazing, guys. What did you guys think of that? A lot of information. You know, we all bring something different to the table. It's absolutely beautiful. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being so patient with me as I was learning how to use this technology. This is what we'll be using on Saturdays and on the Getting to Know You guys. I appreciate you so very, very much. Look forward to Monday with Lisa Harrison. And then we've got Wednesday with Michele Wolf. And I think I have a third, but I haven't quite got it confirmed. I know that Christopher's wanting to come on and do live Cowboys and another when... Transmissions Forever will come on in channel. Cry on for us again. Lots of wonderful and exciting things going on. And I just, you know, love each and every one of you. Like, share, subscribe. And you do share this with people you think would appreciate it and that it would resonate with. Because we're one big happy family and we just unconditionally love each other. Peace. I'll talk to you soon.